Hey, so finally 100 episodes of Reaper of It Sounds Human. Uh, funny, funny name, I think. And I think it really suits me because some people say that I sound human. I try to be. Let me check this here right now. Mute it. Yes, perfect, muted. Okay, let's wait a couple of seconds for people to join in. And let me just share the stream on Facebook so more people can come hang out. The whole idea of this stream is to just like hang out a little bit. Let's try and bring some new formats and new ideas into my channel. That's the whole idea. Join the 100th videos stream. Learn Reaper. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, that works. So the idea, as I was saying of today, is I will probably end up doing something that I used to do in my Spanish channel. I did it for like 2 years, more or less. And the idea is like, let's bring some news into the live stream. Let's discuss some topics. Let's talk about Reaper. And let's just have a little fun finding out new stuff about Reaper. Like, that's the whole point. There's nothing too serious about it. I didn't want to make such a fuss about it. It's been doing well. Like, this channel has been doing well. And I'm happy that it's doing well. It's been growing steadily. It's been, yeah, that's the way of phrasing it. Like, it's been growing steadily. And that's the only thing that matters. For me, that's the only thing that matters. Let's add the chat overlay really fast. Let's do it here. Live chat overlay. Okay. And let's put it somewhere. I don't know. Let's test it. Test. Where is it? I don't see it. Wait. I can do better. Here is my internet thingy. There we go. Oh, and it's super fast. It has pretty much no lag or anything. I love it. It's great. It's great. Transform. Center to screen. Why don't I see it? Okay. Yeah, I think it's finally working. Yeah, I think it is. there we go. So, uh, one of the things that I like talking about during my live streams is like news overall, and this is always some sort of program that's always going back and forth between technology and a little bit of tech and a little bit of mindset and a little bit of many things, so that we have a bigger perspective, or a big perspective as big as we can get it, if that makes any sense. Uh, and the whole point is to just like, let's approach the subjects that so many people have been talking about, ideally from a slightly different point of view. Ideally. Uh, and let's hope that we can actually make it happen. Remember that I can show you stuff about Ableton Live and Reaper, because those are my two main DAWs. So I completely lost where I left my... I think this one is the one that's... Yeah, that's the one leaving. This one is also heading that way. This one is heading this way. Perfect. And I need to have a closer screen again for the live streams. Like, that's the only thing that I'm actually missing. Okay, there we go. Now I'm much more comfortable. So let's just jump into the news. If you're trying to keep up to date with different websites, I might suggest you get some RSS feed app on your phone or whatever. And there are so many things to stay on top of, so it doesn't make sense to me to try to just be on top of absolutely everything. One of the things that I like to think about is between plugins, because there's always a news in the plugins world. There's always something new about the plugins, and I don't think that's always as exciting. It's hard to think about a new concept in plugins. Like, what are people going to make? Are they going to make some new instrument? And it's like, yeah, it's pretty much done. And it's hard to think of a very, very new synthesizer sort of thing that makes something so unique, so unique, that's really groundbreaking. For example, Faceplant probably was one of the last synths that came out that's super interesting. Probably that's one of the last ones. I don't think there's nothing newer than that. Pigments has been doing a great job trying to keep up with the updates and the new ways of working with it. Serum just got an update and it's fantastic, and probably the Serum audience will take a lot of advantage of all of the many features that it has. I didn't have Serum 1, so I'm jumping into Serum just on Serum 2. So there's a lot to learn about this synth. It has way too many options about the resampling and throwing back stuff into it. I do like a lot this idea of just dragging the modulations. Like, this is something that was really interesting for me since the beginning. But for example, what are people going to make? Like, just a new synth? It's not as exciting. What are they going to make? A new compressor? Like, we have pretty much every design that we can think of. What are they going to make? A new suppression thingy? The one that I haven't tested, and we could probably take advantage of to try and test it out right now, is let's download the free version of Tokyo Dome Records released a new suppression plugin. This one, OD Finesse. Yes, I think I'm taking advantage of this one. Yeah, I'm probably taking advantage of this one. And I'm just going to use the demo. Let's download the Mac package. Yeah, this one here. Let's go into here. Yes. Let's go into here. I'm just installing, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's not the scene that I wanted. It's this one? Yeah, it's this one. This is the one I wanted. Oh, but now that I see it again, I hadn't done streams for a while, so it's fine. It's fine. Like, let's just do it like that. Um, Finesse, yeah, and then let's install this. For all users, yes, I'm only using AUs and VST3s. I have to install the AAX plugin because I never know when someone will need to use Pro Tools on my computer, so I have to. Yo, Mike, what's up? What's going on? How is your day looking, dear friend? Let's reload this one. Scan for new plugins. Finesse, here it is. Okay, so I think the whole idea of this plugin, of this new plugin, Tennessee weather. What's the temperature in Tennessee? Temperature in Tennessee. It's with a double, yeah. Oh, weather. 31 degrees. It's a little bit too hot for me. I don't like that much sun. I'm probably better off with like 10 degree less because remember this is Celsius. For Fahrenheit it's 88. So yeah, probably a little bit less for that would be much better for me. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can work with it. So the whole idea of, if you haven't used Tokyo Down Record stuff, like you just have to go and download a couple of their plugins. From the TDR Nova, this one that it's probably one, if not the most watched video on my channel. And I have like a really in-depth video of how to take advantage of all of the features built into it, how to make the band solo, how to make them sticky. There's a feature that's called a sticky band, and the whole sticky concept is super, super useful because you can make control of dynamic stuff and make it not affect other parts of the plugin itself. And here you can make it sticky by holding Option and left clicking, and that makes it like, for example, let's suppose you want to make some sort of narrow suppression right here. You can make only this band sticky, and now this won't be affected. So it works as some sort of crossover for dynamic control, something like that, you know? It works something like that. This plugin also works super great, and it teaches you a lot about just making decisions with very few options. And the different types of saturation sound super cool. It's not invasive. That's a word that I will be using on from here on in English as well. It's not a very invasive saturation, so it's not something easy to listen to. Like, you don't just turn the knob and it sounds crushed. Like, it's much finer. So you have to learn it. But probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite, and this one I bought it many years ago, is this one. It has so many dynamic controls. It's a beast. Like, you have so many models of compression. I've used the clipper so many times with different ways of working around it. And the high frequency limiting, probably these two models are the ones that I've used the most. Let me check the chat. Mike says, let me see if my chat overlay is working. If I can post or put the question on screen. Let me check. Whoa, this is super zoomed in. Is this working? No, it's not working. Wait, I know I can make it work. Wait, Mike, wait. Live chat overlay, there we go. I know I can make it work. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. And yeah, probably I can just crop it a little bit. I stopped live streaming for a while, so yeah. There you go. Wait, Mike, wait. I'm doing my best. There you go. Okay, and I changed one thing on the chat overlay. Let me fix it. Okay, now it should be working. And okay, so your question is, since this is an Ask Me Anything, I would like to ask your take on recording levels. For example, if I use the automatic gain on my Evo setup, my drums will track around minus 6 dB peak, compared to an amp simulator that wants to peak right out of the gate. What kind of levels do you shoot for when tracking, generally speaking, and why our amp seems so loud? It's always tough to explain to people why freshly recorded tracks are not as loud as a finished mix. Your live chat has a black opaque background, by the way. Yeah, I have to also check on that. But yeah. Okay, so recording levels. Let's talk about that for a second. So, for me, the most important thing that we have to keep in mind is that there's something that we cannot avoid that's called bit depth, right? And the bit depth, please remember that it has to do with how much dynamic range we have. The thing is that most people don't understand for some reason, or don't want to understand, or don't want to remember that the dynamic range, if you increase one bit, you are not getting the zero higher up, but you are getting the noise floor lower down. It's not moving up, but it's moving down. Wait, I only want the image. Open image, and this one. This one should work. Yeah, these type of graphs are the problem for understanding that concept. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is that whenever you work at 16 bits, you have 96 dBs of dynamic range, right? But the zero is always at the same spot. Like the 0 dB full scale will always be at the same spot. And you are lowering your relationship to the noise floor because you have more steps between this line, between this one, and this 0. That's what you have. You have more steps in that thing. And that's why we always have to put attention to decay, how most of the time stuff like cymbals tell a lot of how the bit depth has noise or not. So if you are recording pretty much against 24 bit at pretty much 6 bit per 6 dB per bit, you have 144 dBs of dynamic range, right? Let's make it like that so it's easier to read. So if you tell me that you're recording at minus 6 dB full scale, please learn to use your last names on your dBs. It means that you're already taking advantage of 136, yeah? 38, yeah, that's why I don't do math. 138 dB dynamic range, right? And if a recording of any instrument whatsoever, hi Nath, if the recording of any instrument whatsoever has, if your preamp, what interface you said you're using, like an Evo, right? By Audient, I think. So if I go into this one and I check, I don't know, which one do you have? Evo 16, I'm guessing? Because you record drums often, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so I want to check the noise floor on the preamps. That's the thing that I want to check. Okay, you have 58 dBs of gain. And please remember that dBs is not an isolated number. It has to do with the level of something or the volume of something related to something else. Unless you're talking dBSPL, that's pressure of air moving. We're talking about how loud is something, against something else. But probably we have some user manual or some. Whoa, it's a really long. I've been meaning to get the new Audient audio interface, the 8 channel. It looks super cool. And I would sell one of my clarets, to be honest. And I would probably sell the claret that's the new version. That I'm sorry, Focusrite. I know you gave it to me, but it's a really dumb decision because you have a lot of less ways in and out of it because it has a lot of less inputs and connections. Where is my... I'm looking for manual? No, specs. Oh, downloads. Software, documentation. Here we go. Okay. And I know that even though if I show all of this, a lot of people will say stuff like, well, I'm still recording at. It's like, cool, have fun with it. Like, just make it sound right. But I'm going to give you like the in-depth explanation of why you should be recording a lot lower than you think. Yes, I want to see the specs of the preamps. That's the only thing that I want to see. Mix, mono, DAW, throw, input, advanced features. Yes, 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 yes. Here you go. Microphone preamplifier. Signal to noise ratio. Signal to noise ratio. It already eats up something because you have 100 dBs. Okay? Okay, so we have 100 dBs of signal to noise ratio. So if your preamp has 100 dBs of signal to noise ratio and you are already using 100 or you're trying to use 138 dBs, there are 38 dBs that you're not taking advantage of, and that's way down below, buried into your mix. So you don't want to record that. Whatever you want to bring up, it doesn't have to be noise. So let's work around these numbers. Let's suppose for a moment that something like what's the average SPL level of a snare drum? Like, you can do this sort of small research using AI chatbots. Like this, for this, it works. So it could get up to 120 dBs. Like, that's crazy. I think it probably could be around 90 to 100 in my way of listening, but I'm pretty sure some drummers can go above 100 dBs. So that's already eating up pretty much all of the dynamic range of your preamp. But remember that the chain is longer. You have a mic that has a specific sensitivity. If I'm, ask a follow-up question. If I'm using an SM57, given its sensibility, remember that sensitivity is the amount of air pressure that the mic needs to turn that into voltage, okay? Given its sensitivity, how much SPL do I need to reach minus 18 dB full scale with a preamp that has 100 dB signal to noise ratio? Remember that the AI can answer some smart stuff if you know how to ask the questions. Okay. Yes. Yes, this is a conversion that I need. Yes. I'm not going to do logarithms right now. Okay, around, if you have your nominal gain of your preamp, that means like the closest to zero position that you have, you need that your mic could be catching 88 dB SPL. If really close to the shoulders of the drummer, you are receiving pretty much 90 to 100 dBs. And remember that there's this law, quadratic law, I think it's called quadratic law I'm trying to translate the name in English. Inverse law. What would it be? Doubling distance decreases power. Something like that. It should be found. Yeah, inverse square law. This one. So the thing with this law for recording, and this is like a huge game changer for anyone recording, is that whenever you double the distance of something, you're halving the pressure of whatever you're receiving. That's why if you want, for example, if this mic is aiming at the snare drum and you have a dB bleed that's at, I don't know, -18 and your snare is at -10 and you want to push that hi-hat further away from the mic, it's not only about an angle sort of stuff, but you can have the distance of the microphone against the snare, and that lowers 6 dB the bleeding of the hi-hat. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Mike? So what we're trying to do here is, So what I'm trying to do here is to show you that you're probably taking advantage of way too much. Like, you don't need to get in so hot into your DAW, because there are different stages of this. You have so many different stages, like that's the only way to say it, of where you can run into distortion, because each and every one will have different dynamic ranges, different headrooms, and different amounts of stuff, right? So let me show you this with a small diagram on Max. So pretty much, if I have live, this is a message, sorry, it's no, I'm forgetting completely how to use, there you go, live.gain, live slider, no, live slider, thank you. So let's suppose you have first, thank you, let me change the name of this really fast. I don't need anything of this. Short name. First you have a microphone, right? First you have a microphone. Let's zoom in. That microphone has a capsule that could distort because it has a dynamic range and it has a specific sensitivity. From there, you're jumping into your preamp, right? And the preamp, since it's built into the interface, is probably thought sometimes as part of the same stage, but it's not. And the preamp has an analog, and I'll make it as clear as that, to digital converter, right? This is really important because there are so many stages where you can clip. And after this, you go into your DAW. Whoop. Okay? Like so. Okay, so to make this even clearer, the thing is that the microphone or the capsule of the microphone might distort the harder you push into it. Probably, I don't know, something like this could be how hard can you push into it. The harder or the more you increase the level of the preamp, this adds noise the harder you bring it up, okay? The harder you bring the preamp up, it adds noise. And what you want is loud sources to use the correct microphones with the correct sensitivity, so you don't have to make your preamps work too much. And there's a very, very important concept to think about. That's when people talk about driving the preamp or distorting the preamp, it's not twisting the knob of the preamp all the way to the right. It's pushing into the preamp. People are confusing. No, words enough. Uh, Words enough. Words enough. Life dial. I think it's dial. Yeah, this one. People confuse using preamp knob. Wait. Oh, it's the long name. People confuse using the preamp knob, doing this, as pushing the preamp, when what you actually should be doing is having a loud source that's pushing into the mic, that's not distorting, so that the preamp can cleanly distort and add whatever it's actually built to add. Are we clear so far? I think that's easy to follow, right? After that, where you actually get the distortion of the preamp, and in the case of the Evo preamps of the Audience series, they have this auto gain feature, right? Where they are doing this split uh, conversion and metering. There's like that's a fantastic topic. But what they're doing is they're always thinking about where to push or where to go into the conversion, because one of the paths has a higher ceiling than the other. That's how the Audience series work. So one has a higher ceiling than the other. That way you can never distort into the digital conversion. The huge problem is that you have one, two, three different sounds of available distortion or distortion steps, and you have three different, well, two different noises available, right? Well, I can talk way too much about this. Uh, okay. Do you want me to go deeper into this? Like, this is a rabbit hole. Like, it's not. I think it's interesting, but I don't know if you're finding it interesting and useful. Are you alive, Mike? Uh, uh, uh. Wait, is the chat not moving or am I disconnected? No, I think it's working. Are you around, Mike? Let me know if you want me to go deeper into this idea. Okay, cool. Uh, so as I said, like, is this first stage clear? Like this one from the microphone to the analog to digital converter? Like if this is clear, then I can know if I can go like harder into it, or if that's like enough for you to like understand what's going on. Because once we get here, I keep forgetting all of my shortcuts. The blue cable is digital signal, right? It's only digital signal. And the red cable is still analog signal. Yeah, like that's probably the thing. Because like you see how much you have available, right? It also happens with one of the I always forget the name in English. Like, do they call them pedals as well? The stump boxes that you use on your feet? Like, I have this one, right? And this one, I use it a lot, right? And it's a bass tone maker like the Aguilar preamps and stuff like that. But this is an API old model that I see that they discontinued. But if you can get your hands on one of these, like they sound super cool. Like they are amazing. They sound super, super cool. The thing is that it has two outputs right here. You have an instrument level output and you have a line level output that's built on XLR. And the line output, the thing is that it's always way too hot. So I always have to pad it because it's way too hot. And the thing is that it doesn't matter how much I lower my preamp, I'm always, always so close to clipping into this zero of my analog to digital converter. That's the whole problem. Because if you're picking into this, even though your preamp is at its lowest and you have this one at its highest because the source is super strong, it doesn't matter how you bring it up or down into your DAW because it was already recorded with this distortion or this clipping. It's way unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. So for example, most of the things that I record, I always end up recording trying to peak around -12 at the biggest position. So whenever the musicians are still checking levels, I try to set my levels at around -18 peak inside the DAW, but I'm always watching. Let me show you. I have always at sight this screen of whatever audio interface you're using, the software of your audio interface, because I want to know when I'm peaking on this zero. This is extremely dangerous. There's also like this strange black box phenomenon in audio design where most or a lot of things that claim to be zero are still 3 dB or 6 dB before the actual zero, so that users think they are clipping, and it's just a way of making the kids don't mess up, right? Like that's the whole thing. Let me change the name of this one, and let me change the name of this one. That's the thing that I'm back. Huh. We have to really understand which devices and how they are working, because if you are looking into this diagram, the metering of this could be the actual zero full scale, and as you can see, my voice is actually apparently at -12, but since I'm driving that into my RedNet X2P, I can bring it up even more without distorting. I used to do some sort of a vocal chain inside my OBS, or I tried a lot of stuff. Eventually, I ended up just adding something like a neutron that it's off for some reason. Maybe I should turn it on because this should sound better on the live stream, I think. Let me check. Yeah, something like that. It's not broken, so I'll leave it on. So yeah, I set up my levels pre-recording at around -18 because I know the musicians will start playing harder, and I just drive their monitors a little bit harder. That way they won't ask for much level, and I won't have to modify my preamp setup. I hope that made sense. This simply will not be the same as trying to get a clean signal on a recording from a live instrument. I find that a more conservative recording level, albeit quiet, just sounds better somehow. Like that's the thing. You can see right here my audio interface, right? Like this is my main monitoring station. So I have a couple of tricks so that people don't even realize how loud I'm actually recording, because that's not the thing that I'm worried about. I'm worried about getting a clean instrument. So whenever I'm working most of the time, my position that I have calibrated for 80 dB 82 dB SPL on my sitting position. I have my knob right here, and of course I have my GLM that's set up, that I even disconnected finally the microphone because I don't need to know how much dB SPL. It usually shows up right here. I don't need to know how loud I am because now I know how my room sounds, right? And I'm working at -14. But whenever I'm recording with people, I go 8 dBs higher in level. So I just switch to -6. And this makes people think that it's actually louder than it is. But I can still look at my metering in the levels that I need to. This is a very simple trick, but it's super useful because people won't get obsessed with it's too soft, right? And that works. If I need any more level, I can just go one single step higher, and trust me, that's a lot of level available in my room. But it's just trying to trick people into not knowing what you're doing with your room. What did happen once is that I was recording some vocals for an artist, and they were like this label kind of artist. And I knew for a fact that they were going to tell me whenever I sent the files that it was way too quiet. Yeah, like I was recording way too low because I had a small compressor, like just leveling out the recording. And they said, "Wait, why is the recording so low? Did you have a compressor on?" And I was like, "No, like that's the level I record, but I'll fix it. Don't worry." And I just increased the peak level and sent it because I know people like that expect peaks at -3. So on that same way of thinking, I could have something like this vocal. Oh yeah, I need my headphones. And by the way, this is example of the video that I will be releasing next week. So yeah, don't worry about it. Mute. There we go. So for example, this clean vocal, just as it was recorded, sounds like this. Let me turn off everything.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh baby, I slay, este dress me sienta bien.
Since this is not a recording specifically for a final song, I have these peaks at around -3, minus, whatever. But I don't mind. Like, I honestly don't care because I still have a lot of space available before clipping. But this was something that, like, I had some girls here in the back and they were like just sharing microphones and doing stuff like that, and we were just pumping out ideas. Let me see what you wrote. Yeah, like, for me, that's the way to go. Like, it's the best sounding, less noisy, and more intentional result of whatever you're trying to do. But the whole concept goes thinking around this idea, where you have different stages where you can actually distort, or where you can actually run into noise problems if you're making something pull stuff up and it has a lot of noise available. The preamps are probably the noisiest part of the chain. If you don't have good preamps, it's going to be noisy. And if the microphone is something like a condenser and the room is not really good and it's really far away from the instrument within the style that you're making, it's going to bring up a lot of noise from the room, for example, or from bleeding from another instruments. If that's not part of the sound, that would be considered noise, right? And here you just don't want to clip. Like, that's the thing. Here you really don't want to clip, and inside the DAW you can't clip pretty much. So, like, I'm never worried about being close to zero, and I'm almost never close to zero. I hope that answered your question. I went way too deep into that one. Sorry. Let's take advantage of that same vocal to try out this TDR plugin because I wanted to test it out. If you have any other questions, like just let me know. I'm happy to answer them. Finesse, this one. There you go. Yes, I know I'm running a demo version of it. I know. Oh, it has cranberries in it. I'm not sure if it's up there on the US, but it's called. This one. Yeah, this one. I don't know. I like that one. Okay, so this one is a spectral processor that intelligently manages resonances with exceptional transparency and musical elegance. 3 primary parameters provide intuitive control of the operation, each freely adjustable over frequency. Depth adjusts processing intensity, automatically reducing excessive resonances. Timing defines how smoothly the process behaves. Guard sets as a protective layer that musically retains favorable spectral details. Building on advanced minimum phase filtering techniques, Finesse offers detailed spectral control that doesn't interfere with the material's original transients and phase relationships. The unique retilt feature intelligently compensates for applied spectral changes to maintain the original tonal balance and perceived loudness. Okay, so it has some sort of auto gain built into it, so you don't get affected by the changes. Okay, so let's try that one. Let's try it. So I have this vocal.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
There's always something that I hate around the 300, 200 area range in vocals, and I really hate it. I'm going to use the solo in front feature, and let's just zoom into the plugin. Okay, this is how much am I suppressing, how many bands. Remember that probably, without listening to it yet, the more bands you split your signal into, you can probably have some more filtering issues. I mean, Tokyo Down knows what they're doing, but I just probably wouldn't go too hard on the amount of bands that I'm using. And okay, this is like the amount of cutting, I'm guessing, yeah. Linking left and right, MS, and the tilt. Okay, let's try this one. Can I resize it a little bit? No, probably it's because it's the demo version.
Despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar.
See, 300, told you.
Despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar.
Okay.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas.
Let's make it like go super soothe into it.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar.
Remember that if you hold Option and Reaper, you can listen to what the plugin is doing, and it will jump into this Delta mode.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad.
This is what's removing, what getting removed. That's what's getting removed. Let me like really push it.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Okay, let me make it super fast.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high,
and super slow.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar.
Oh, cool.
No son ni las 10 y tú ya es.
Okay. So I think I know what I'm doing now. Okay, so probably around here with probably less bands and a little bit of a faster timing, something like this. Because I'm thinking about these long E's that are probably like 400 milliseconds, something like that. So let's bring it like that.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Oh, this is a fun way of using this parameter. Like you just drag it up and it works as mono.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
This really cleans it up. Like I like it. Let me put this at the beginning of the chain where I'm actually processing the vocal with example of next week's video. And yeah, let's remove the first EQ, and I'm only using finesse right here. Yeah, I couldn't save the options, so let's do something like that, something like that, something like that. Let's try this.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
And without it,
entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay, este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
okay. Let me do something super cheesy with this. Yeah, I'm going to duplicate one of these tracks. I'm sorry, kids, don't do this at home. This is the one that's already set up, I think. Yeah, okay. I'm going to turn off everything else. Yeah. Render to mono. Cool. Okay, so what I want to compare is this one is, let me add a take. Wait, let me add a take, and this is with finesse. There you go. I should probably switch that one on the tweak theme adjuster. Let me do that thing. Take marker. When item is selected, let's make it white. There you go. So it's actually easier to read. There you go. Okay, this one has finesse. This one doesn't. Let me make it mono because it's already mono. There you go. And what I'm trying to see is like the tone overall. Like that's the thing I'm trying to compare. I think I have some span right here because it's so subtle. Like it's working super cool. I can't listen to anything that really stands out as filtering issues or this soothy effect sometimes when you start going hard into sooth that could sound phasey or like this dynamic suppression. Like I can't listen to that effect, so that's a good thing. Okay, let me set it up really fast. Since I'm trying to figure out how invasive the plugin was, I'm going to change the timing of the spectrum to 300 milliseconds, yeah, and turn the block size to 4. Yeah, this should work. Now I have above in red you have the version with finesse, and underneath you have the version without it.
En el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay, Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Like, it simply works so good. Like, it works super, super cool. Let me bring it back to 3 seconds on both of them. There you go.
En el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
That's original vocal with processing, and this one is with finesse.
En el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Okay. Let me copy the rest of the chain into finesse. So now above we have finesse. This one in red is finesse after all, with all the vocal chain. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. There you go. So yeah, first we will listen to finesse pre-vocal chain, and then we will listen to no finesse before vocal chain with only a little bit of EQ. Let's try it again. With finesse.
En el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Okay, and without finesse at the beginning of the chain.
En el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
It's a little bit darker, right? Like, what do you think? What do you think it's actually going on? As far as I can listen, it's a little bit darker. Where's my chat overlay? There you go. Wait, where is it? Yeah, I think it's a little bit darker. Where can I add? Without that resonant. Let me listen to it again. Like, I'm really intrigued. I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to use my speakers because that. Yeah, okay, let's try it again. And let's just listen again. First to this one with finesse.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
And then without finesse before the chain.
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, I slay. Este dress me sienta bien. No son ni las 10 y tú ya estás al 100.
Yeah, it does an amazing job. Like, what the hell did you just do? Like, that's super clean. It's such a clean cut. Okay, now you know what you can use on pretty much any single low budget microphone that you get. Like, just use Finesse by TDR. Like, give them a shout out and like just tag them and say like, whoa, this thing is crazy. And it's still 20% off. I'm seriously thinking about buying that one. Like, that's quite an amazing tool. Yeah, the thing is super good. Yes. You always have to read the manuals. Like in the case of Tokyo Don, I've learned so much from their manuals, and many developers don't do good manuals, so that's a thing also to be taken to pay attention to. For example, if I was processing something like a bass, I would probably use a slower timing here, and that would be really interesting. See, I told you 300 milliseconds. Ha, told you. Let me see how much latency is this introducing, because maybe you can get away with this on live sound. Mm. Channel processing. Okay. Mm. Oh, this one I didn't see it. The curve system. Wait. What's that? Where's the plugin? Oh, yeah, I rendered it. So let me use one more again here. The tilt. Wait, where is this? Finesse unique system curve system provides intuitive visual control over frequency-dependent processing. Each curve type can be selected using its corresponding button, and all curves are displayed directly on the spectrum analyzer. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh. Oh, you can even have like non-linear processing. So you can preserve a lot of the highs and don't deal with, oh, I really want to test this thing out for a lot of things. The timing, you can have different timings for different frequencies. Whoa. Like, this is. And what he was saying is that, yeah, it's moving and respecting their relationship. And this way it's multiplying if I hold shift. Okay. Probably multiplying is a better way to move since we are talking about dBs and it's a logarithmic scale. So yeah, that makes sense. Choose controls also handle, yeah, handle frequency. Man, like that's super crazy. Okay, remember how I said that there was probably nothing or very few things that someone can think of that haven't been done yet? Well, this is one of them. They are so far ahead of the game and they're not just like releasing plugins all of the time. You have to test this. Like, you have to. I probably have some bass recording here of some sort. Let me check if my computer doesn't die. Yeah, we probably shouldn't. Uh, let me try. Oh, let me try this one. Yeah, this is a live recording. Whoa, this got me super excited. Uh, what I was. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to share like a screenshot of this with Fabian. So maybe I can land a great. Oh wait, no, a picture. I want to land a free license of this. I hope I can. I hope I can. let me share the stream with him. Like, this is super cool. I really, really like this idea. Okay, so I have this live recording, and let me check what I had more or less on the multi-track. Mute. I don't know. Let's try this one.
Vamos a hacer un clásico. Este no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For example, the thing with this recording, and it has like that natural comp filtering to it, is because I had to do some odd thing with the vocal list. So yeah, this one.
All the lights that lead us there are blinded. There are many things. Child of the prairie, my heart keeps calling. My
Okay.
heart enthralling. All
I don't know which track I want to use. Huh.
words fight to tell a tale. And the prince reminds her.
Let's use this one. Like, I like this. Let me just really fast get some place with the bird sound of it, because you know how this is. It's hard enough as it is. Let me group this as an auxiliary overhead really fast. Let's paste an SSL channel. The snare, I'm going to trigger it because apparently the cable was dying out on me. And it's super strange. Yeah, and let's also group this keyboard, auxiliary keyboard. And no, I won't use the SSL for this one. I will use the Focusrite one. Yeah, I think Focusrite does a better job on keyboards. There you go. And also on the trumpet. There you go. And for the vocals, I'm going to use Focusrite as well. And I'm going to use Finesse. There we go. Oh. And then I'm just going to load probably like a compressor of some sort that helps me. Oh, let's have fun with Blue Cat. Like those, they also have some really cool stuff. Okay, so this is, okay, there you go. Let me get tone out of stuff really fast. Sorry about this.
Deep in the jungle, a woman sat on Watley, and the prince reminds her. Time ago,
I hate that. Okay. That works. Yeah, something like that works. Yeah, cool. Let me get out of the way. Let me go here.
Spiritual journey begin. Long time.
Let me mute the vocal for a moment. Why are the keys not stereo? Actual stereo. Am I crazy? Yeah, like that's super mono. Let me throw that into some small effect, so it's a little bit more stereo. Yeah. Something as simple as that, right? Okay. What if I do it here? I hope you're listening on headphones or on speakers. Yeah, like even just that. There you go. Oh, let me get into this part right here to get the trumpet. Yeah, something like this. I hate it when people like bring their pedals into the gig and they don't realize how noisy the pedals are. Like that has all to do with, where is it? This diagram that we did right here. Like they're bringing this FX processing and stuff, and like it's super noisy when people don't even realize it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So I was thinking about trying out finesse on the bass, right? Because sometimes the bass is so misunderstood. So what if it has like this nasally part around 700? it's off, right? That's why it's not working. But I want to try the chord stop, right? So let's use less bands. Well, there's a big decision here, because if I use less bands and most of the instrument is actually just living down here, the whole thing is that if you have less frequencies across octaves, if you think about EQing across frequencies, EQing across octaves, is that I can probably go a little bit harder around this nosy part of it, and I can go a little bit less harder into it around here. Yeah, probably something like that. And I don't want to split it way too much, because I would be splitting the octaves way too hard. Let's try something like this. And since higher up I have shorter decays, let's try something like this. Okay, let's try something like it. Hi Brenda. Hi Lydia. This thing is super clean. I love it. It's super clean. How did they do it? It's crazy. Let's try another finesse up here on the cymbals. Let me bring the cymbals up. A lot faster. Yeah, less bands, it's going to be super strange. Okay, and now let's try dragging this into the vocal. I'm going to take advantage of the paranormal effects here. So I have this container. Well, yeah, let's do it like that. No, this isn't it. It's this one right here. So I'm going to build a parallel chain next to finesse, and I'm going to use re-EQ. So I have like a much narrower control. Okay, so I have a lot of build up here. That's actual noise.
Prince reminds her, fear the reminder of ages long ago. Many leaves later, I travel across the same path. Under the basis of traces of a footprint, silent testimony. Spiritual journey began long time ago. Eons of changes, illusion of some progress. Fearful is leading the future of soul power, no in early ages. Spiritual journey began long time ago. Deep in the jungle, a woman slept on white clay.
Okay, let's try to set up the focus right.
Deep in the jungle, a woman sits on Watley, and the prince reminds her. Fear the reminder of ages long ago. Many leaves later, our trouble crossed the same path. Under the pines, saw traces of a footprint, silent testimony. Spiritual journey began long time ago. Eons of changes, illusion of some progress. Fearful is leading the future, also power, no in early ages. Spiritual journey began long time ago.
Woo, that's a clean move. Cool.
Deep in the jungle, a woman sits on Watley, and the prince reminds her. Fear the reminder of ages long ago. Many leaves later, our trouble crossed the same path. Under the pines, he saw traces of a footprint, silent testimony. Spiritual journey began long time ago. Eons of changes, illusion of some progress. Fearful is leading the future, also power, no in early ages. Spiritual journey began long time ago.
Okay, so now let's try the finesse. Finally, sorry for that delay. Let's get back into it. So I more or less brought something out of the vocal. That's what that works for me. And let's solo this container and let's work with the finesse. Now at the beginning of the chain, trying to suppress a little bit of the resonance of the cymbals that are bleeding into the mic. And let's start doing some other stuff.
Deep in the jungle, a woman sits on Watley, and the prince reminds her. Fear the reminder of ages long ago. Many leaves later, our trouble crossed the same path. Under the pines, he saw traces of a footprint, silent testimony. Spiritual journey began long time ago. Eons of changes, illusion of some progress. Fearful is leading the future, also power, no in early ages. Spiritual journey began long time ago.
Okay, so this thing is way too cool. It's unfair to the game. I wanted to touch on more topics and like just go through Feedly and talk about different stuff, but like finesse really draw my attention and I got completely disconnected. Let's see if there's any other news that could be interesting to talk about. And I'll just talk a little bit about what you can find on my YouTube channel and why it might be interesting for you to go into it. Yeah, this is Marcus Red. I'm not interested in this one. Yeah. Another octaver. I don't know, like, do we need something else that makes vocals go from ooh to ooh? Like, do we need another one of these? Like, is it really that much necessary? Like, most of the times you can just get away with it with the stock features built into your DAW, like, honestly. In this case, this doubling vocal wasn't done with the within Reaper, but you could just drag this vocal, double it. Let me use another session. And if they are different takes, like that's very important to always remember. If they are different takes, you can just change the pitch 12 semitones higher up, 12 semitones higher, lower down, and now you have something like. The difference is that you don't have this four-months sort of extra control, but what you can play with is with the shifting mode. So you can try with the soloist on one,
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad.
and with the fade size, this also works really well. Let's try it at 30. Oh, apply.
Entrando en el bar.
If I make it super long, like 10 times longer,
Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress isn't that thin. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo...
Oh, that's super cool.
Despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress isn't that thin. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress isn't that thin. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress isn't that thin. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay.
Este dress isn't that thin.
See? Like it
Entrando
works.
en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress isn't that thin. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. Tacón tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Baby, slay. Este dress isn't that thin.
You can do some really funny things with this.
Despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, slay, este dress está bien. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad, el tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, slay, este dress entrando en el bar. La ciudad lo tengo high, me mirar.
This is so silly.
Este
I love
dress
it.
está no entra en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay. Este dress está bien. Entrando en el bar, despierta la ciudad. El tacón lo tengo high, me volteas a mirar. Oh, baby, I slay.
Like, you can do so much with it. We probably don't need another octaver. We really don't. Tonex modeler. Like, just an update. Yeah, it's cool. Have fun with it. I don't have one. They sound great. Like, they sound really great. I don't care about this one. What's the glue? Someone updated the glue. Okay, they added stereo link to your plugin. Cool. Nothing too interesting over there. Cool. See, like, pretty much a lot of the news are most of the times just stuff that aren't really interesting. Oh, Cubase has modulators now. That's interesting. LFO, envelope follower, shaper, macronob, step modulator, mod scripter. That looks really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it was clearly taken from the Ableton Live environment. Like it's not new, or it's not hard to realize where they draw this from. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, they are more designed like the Bitwig sort of workflow. Like they just live in your session, and you can drag them into stuff. That's a nice add-on. Like I like it. I'm not sure, but I think you can, or I wish you could. I'm hoping they added that you can automate these parameters, so that you can probably add the shape or move the phase or add the amplitude of the modulator itself. Like, yeah, if that's not automation ready, then it's not really useful. Okay, they added a Kickstarter version of it. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, they added their own Kickstarter version. Let me see if this... No, this is not playing into the stream. Let me check really fast. Brave browser. There you go. Yeah, like that's cool. Like we can also do this on Reaper. Like that's not big news. I don't really like the way we can do it in Reaper. Like I know we can do a lot of stuff, but I think sometimes it's way too fiddly. Let's call it that. Let me bring some Search XT instrument, and let me just draw like a long chord. Wait, let me do it like this. I'll change the sound into, I don't know. I have like much better keys right here. I think I have some good cool keys here. Oh, this is super bright. Yeah, let's try something like this. What's tempo win? 100. Let's try 90. There you go. Let me click the metronome. There you go. Okay, yeah, that should work. Let's bring it from here to here. Let's just really snap these ones into place. Cool. Let's make a region out of it. Let me show you how to do those envelope modulators on Reaper really fast. I'll bring some samples that are... yeah, this one's Love and War. Cool. Kick drums, cool. Kick, snare, clap, hi-hats. Yeah, let's do it like that. Yeah, let's do it like this. The thing that I like about sometimes doing it with audio, and I don't know why, well, I more or less know why Reaper always drags me into the audio version of it, but is that I can really, really time how long do I want my stuff to be. And I can go like, yeah, this is going to be auto-muted. Let me lower this through peak to minus. I usually normalize my items and my sample library by loops and I always try to set them to minus 21 loops, because that way I have enough headroom for my mixing and later stages. There we go. Let's do 8 notes really fast. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Tuku, tuk, tuk. It's going to go slower. Tuk, tuku. Something like that. This one is a lot lower. Yeah, well, let's just repeat that idea. There you go, super fast. Let's drag a small snare. A snap, let's bring a snap. Well, here's a fun trick about sometimes working in Reaper, and I really like this one, is that you can think about effects per track, but remember that you can add effects on the sample itself. It's going to add a ton of plugins if you're doing a lot of it, but for example, let's suppose I'm using Valhalla Supermassive here, and a REQ. There you go. And once I go, I didn't want to load this one. Well, it's fine. I'll use this one with a high pass and low pass preset. There you go. Something like that. And it's going to go into a reverb medium 4th watt reverb. There you go, with less feedback and more or less this amount of mix. Yeah, that works. Let's duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. There you go. Let's add our rim. And I'm going to use 2 different rim shots. So I'm going to do some small layering. Let's use this one and this one. Yeah. Something like that. Why is this moving so much? How? What? What's going on? Limit. Hey, what's up, Will? Yeah. Honestly, like, that's common when you're working. Like, sometimes people get way too scared with that sort of thing, and it's like, yeah, like, stuff can be loud sometimes, but it's fine. So let's add a reaccomp. I'm just teaching whoever's watching how to use the modulators in Reaper. So if I wanted to follow, for example, like, there are so many ways to try and do some sidechain docking effect on stuff. You could just drag from your kick drum into your keys, and it's going to drag. If you drag it into the plugin, it's going to drag straight into 3 and 4 inputs, and those 3 and 4 inputs are the same ones as the auxiliary inputs on the plugin, and that way you can listen to the kick drum, and whenever the kick drum hits, the keys will go down. Let me make a really, really dramatic version of it. See? And if I make it higher, if I go higher with my threshold, you can always time it. Like, I'm using the music math that you can find on Reapack. Like, you can always super time it and make it go back 1/8, and you can just make your release and everything closer to that, so I can make this 300 milliseconds and attack 33 milliseconds if you don't want to be like super snappy. And just beware of... Oh yeah, I always forget that whenever I'm using Search XT uses 4 inputs usually. So I have to make my track channel count 6. That way my send from the kick drum, in this case, just in this case, because I'm using this plugin and probably others suffer from this as well, has to go into 5 and 6. And now I have to patch my reaccomp into my auxiliary inputs into 5 and 6 as well. So now it's listening to the kick drum. There you go. And you could even render this and test if it's actually 1/8 of a note. Render to stereo. And if I set my kick next to it, and I set my grid to an 1/8 note, I can see that it's pretty much letting it release and go back to its level pretty much on that same spot, right? Like that works. Another way of just visualizing this is if you don't want to do renders. Remember that you can also group stuff and add them into folders. And let's call this, I don't know, let's call it 999. Yeah, and I don't have much of a name right now. The problem here is that it's only showing MIDI, right? So it's not showing the sound that's the result of this. So I would still have to freeze my track or something so I could get some sort of visual reference of it. But something that I would really like in Reaper that I realized not too long ago is that I would love to have some sort of icon that shows which track is frozen. That would really, really, really help. That would be super useful. Like, you have no idea how useful that would be. Because I often freeze a lot of tracks and I start hiding stuff and going back and forth. And unless I have some sort of written references that this is frozen, I keep forgetting about sometimes which steps I have already frozen or which ones probably I haven't. And it would be easier to just have some sort of icon on the track itself. I don't think there is. Is there a way to show an icon on Reaper for frozen tracks? What? A small gray font indicating freeze before the track items. Okay, let me check this. This could be interesting if I just found about it. If I go into these two and I freeze this one, freeze to stereo. Where's that gray font that it's that? Well, usually my reference is that the item is locked. I mean, I can unlock it, but it says freeze right there. But I need a bigger reference right here, right? Involves scroll, custom icon, typically PNG files in it. Oh, assigning it to frozen tracks using custom actions. Place the icon file in the Reaper results. I think I have a frozen icon, like a snowflake or something like of that sort. Let's make that happen. Like, it's all. This is the beautiful thing about Reaper. If you're not especially working into something and you're just trying to figure one thing out, you might run into some features that you say, oh, I want to try this, and I set it up. Do I have a snowflake right here? What do I want to be my icon for freezing? My neck. Okay, I don't have an icon for that. Let me download one. Flat icon, that's the one I use. What did you say, Will? Initially the effects disappear, but if you add... What? If you add more... Nah, I'll probably try that one. Yeah, something like this. Like, I don't need anything bigger than this. Let's set it up on the images, icons, frozen, right? So resource path under data track icons folder, this can be, yeah. Oh yeah, you could build a custom action to it, so it adds the icon. Okay, so let me check if I can change icon track. Let's go zoom in here. Slot 1. This one, what does this one does? Okay, this does this. Yeah, seems like too much of a problem. What does this one does? Yeah, same thing. Wait, maybe this works. I'm going to look for frozen. Where is it? Didn't I? Yeah, here it is. Frozen. All right, but it's not in that folder. Let me move it there. Show in Finder. There you go. Let me move this one into this folder. Copy this one, paste it here. Oh, there it is. Cool. And now I can find it here. Cool. And there it is. So if I go into this track, oh, maybe I just figured it out. Huh. Reaper is just like this. Cool. Yeah. So I can build a custom action, new action, custom action, freeze, stereo. Yeah, just like that. Freeze, stereo with icon. Let's call it that. Okay. And let's go into the menu editor and let's go into, which one is it? Track control panel. Context, this one. Yeah, this one. And right above this one, I'm going to select freeze icon. Like so. Close, apply. I can clean it up later, but this should work. So now, whenever I'm working on something and I just want to render or freeze something, freeze stereo with icon. Yes! It works! Reaper all the way. Reaper all the way. I'm probably going to just add one little thing from here, because on some things I like the beautiful visual cue. Insert, rename, this one. If you hold Control Option plus spacebar, you can open your icon, your emojis. So I'll leave this one because it's a menu, so I'll leave it like that for now. And now whenever I log into the feature, there it is with an emoji. So it's easier to like just go into it, as well as the inputs. Like I have a small icon for it, so it's easier for me to find like whatever I'm looking in the menu when menus start getting larger and larger. Woo! Great idea. Great idea. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So, 100 videos on my channel. I really, really want to suggest you go into my channel, go find out what you can learn. I have a ton of videos. Where is my browser? I lost it. Here it is. Let's go into Sounds Human. Okay, so again, this channel was thought of, or it started, I don't know now, by now, probably 2 years maybe, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago. So it started like this idea of trying to jump and forcing myself into developing like a good proper English for higher education and tech stuff, and being able to relate better to my colleagues all around the globe. And just to feel a little bit more comfortable with my own English in my own job, you know. I know my English is not bad, but I think it can always be better. So I started trying out stuff about first finding what I really wanted to do with my channel and what people really were drawn to. I have never wanted to do one of those tracks or channels where people are just going again into what's a compressor, like just go into it 5 minutes and let's go. My way of thinking is that we need to take a little bit more time to think about what we probably know. So all of my videos are a little bit longer than that. So even something like this demo of Acid B for Arturia is a bigger lesson. It's not just like move this, set the sequence, play it, and the same with the TDRs, Leak EQ, and Focusrite channel strip. This video is super cool. I don't know why this one doesn't have more views. It's a fantastic video, and I know that channel strip inside out. You can learn so much. And if you have it free, or if you have any Focusrite Novation or Atom hardware, you can just register it on your website, and you can have that one for free. Or if you're paying the Plugin Alliance subscription, you have that one for free, and it sounds super cool. It has a built-in de-esser that's amazing for doing a ton of tricks. Some beat making, some listening examples, some creative ways of using your gates or different effects or processors. Like, just go into my channel, try to figure out which color, because it's color coded, better suits what you're interested in. And maybe you want to know more about Reaper, and stuff about Reaper is with this color bluish hue stuff. If you want to know more about Reaper updates, I have these covers that show the Reaper updates. If you want to think more about other plugins, it's this green one. If you want to try creative output stuff, you can look for the pink ones. If you are trying to look for interesting workflows in Reaper, you can look for the yellow covers, and so on. Like, by now I have a lot of videos. I was a little bit burned out for the last like 2 to 3 months maybe, so I'm just coming back to it. Otherwise I would have probably more videos, because I have 123 in 2 years. That's a lot. But I will come back to this rhythm, and I will start streaming as well. So whoever wants to join, there are always like this podcast kind of stream with Ask Me Anything built into it. Go jump into my channel, share it if you like it with anyone that might want to learn some audio production, some music production, because I still don't know what people mean when they just say music production. People are meaning absolutely everything and nothing at the same time. I hope you're willing to invest the time that you need to make things sound better, because that's the biggest challenge in audio engineering and music itself. You have to practice, you have to train yourself, you have to rethink what you know, and like just jump into it, practice a lot, face the reality that probably your first 50 attempts won't be good, and just jump into it and start making music now, or start making music to try audio stuff now. Straight from Mexico City. It's always great to read every single one of you. Thanks for everyone that stopped by on the chat. Let's talk about Reaper, Not Wars, Olivier, and Will. Thanks everyone for snooping around in the chat. Will says, carving away at things each day. Indeed. Indeed. Wait, why is that not? Let me see why is that overlay not working properly. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Let me just fix that one really fast. Because I don't want to be dealing with that every single time I jump into a stream. I really don't. Let me go. Where is it? Live chat overlay. Options. Background color. Oh, transparent. There you go. So if I do this, this should be working, I think. And if I go like this, okay, it still has this black background to it. That's the thing I don't want. Let me find it. No, but I still see it with a black background. I just want the floating one. And I had it solved. Like long ago, I had it solved. But if I do this, and then I do this, let me close this one and reopen it and see if that refreshes the pop out. Cool. There you go. Yes. Yes, finish this one. Let's get this. And let's go again into OBS really fast. Let's go here. Okay. And now if I stand out one of your comments, there we go. It's fixed. I'm looking at the replay right here. It's fixed. There you go. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Probably that's the only thing that I would like. I think that would benefit a little bit. Why is this? Well, yeah, it works. Cool. Thanks, Will. Thanks for always hanging around and being super cool. Wait, why is this not working? I want to make this one bigger. Oh, I know why. It has to be done here. Yes. There we go. Cool, now it's working. Yes! Complete success. Have a nice day. Go check that TDR Finesse plugin. It's completely amazing, mind-blowing what it's doing. Have a nice day. See you, everyone.